Hi there, welcome to today's session on how to install Couchdb on Linux. Then we are also going to have a brief discussion on the Couchdb, right? And we are going to create some sample database. Once the installation is done, we are going to verify the installation, then create sample database and add sample records, and then we are going to end the session. Okay, so first of all, Couchdb is a document-oriented database management system which is released under the open source license of Apache. So it stores data in a schema-free manner. That means that unlike traditional SQL-based databases, there are no tables and columns or no joins, and it also does not have any primary and foreign keys or relationships. But instead, CouchDB stores data in a series of documents and offers a JavaScript-based view model for aggregating and reporting of the data. So this JavaScript model is also called as JSON, a JavaScript object notation, which is a new interchange format which is very popular in the recent years. So JSON is a language or interchangeable format which is easy for humans to create and different programming languages to parse it. So COUCH stands for Cluster of Unreliable Commodity Hardware, right? That's what COUCH stands for, which indicates that CouchDB is intended to run on distributed systems, right, across a cluster of commodity servers. So early versions of CouchDB it supported only HTTP-based RESTful API. What this means is that rather than connecting to a database server using a client application, you would use any software which is capable of interacting with an HTTP-based web server to make all the requests. So this includes APIs for creating database, adding uh, different contacts or things like that. So whenever you use the API, so in turn the API performs the actual database actions and returning an appropriate response when finished. So this means that you can manage the database by simply visiting the URLs in your web browser using command line tools such as CURL or more importantly by using any programming language which supports HTTP requests. So early of 2008, there was support introduced for MapReduce within CouchDB, and you can define CouchDB views using a map function and an optional reduce function. So the map function would take an input document and it's going to emit key value pairs. The reduce function then takes each of these pairs and performs further calculation. So in short, CouchDB is a semi-structured data model which is based on the JSON, right, and it's completely schema-free. So it's structured materialized views produced from document collections and views defined with a MapReduce paradigm. And it allows distributed data management techniques, and it also has consistent hashing, support for data replication and reconciliation, horizontal scalability, parallel computing, and many more different features. So the primary use of CouchDB is for data exchange in web environment, right? Typically Ajax kind of applications. And extended use might be for data serialization and storage. So let's look at some of the requirements for CouchDB. So before you can install CouchDB, you need to install a series of dependency packages, right? And CouchDB has a long list of dependencies. So initially when CouchDB was released in early 2006, it, it was completely written in C++, but later it was moved to Erlang language, which was developed by Ericsson and is most popular in the telecommunication space. Okay, and Erlang is highly centered on the ideas of concurrency control, fault tolerance, and distributed applications, right? And the developer, Damien Katz, believed it was a perfect fit with CouchDB. Okay, so coming to the requirements, as it's developed in Erlang language. So Erlang OTP is the primary dependency. Then you need to have different components like ICU, which is nothing but international components for Unicode. Then you need to have OpenSSL, okay, and you also need to have Mozilla Spider-Man key package, JavaScript package, and you need to have GNU make and GNU compiler collection for the different compiler or for compiling the code. Then you need to have libcurl, so which is the main package using which you can trigger most of the HTTP requests and work with CouchDB. Then you also need to have Python written equal to 2.7 and Python Sphinx, which is written equal to 1.1.3. So there are two ways of installing CouchDB. One is you have to download all the different the dependencies and the CouchDB source itself, and then compile them manually and make sure all dependencies are resolved. But in my experience, that is going to be a very tedious process, and you are not going to get that straight in your first try. And the second, most popular ways to install CouchDB using Yum on CentOS and Red Hat or Fedora systems, or using apt-get on Debian systems. So we are going to use the Yum package on the CentOS system to install. So for anyone who wants to download and configure manually, you can download CouchDB, and the current release is 1.6.1 from couchdb.apache.org. Okay, so let's uh, try to install it using the Yum. So sudo Yum install CouchDB, and obviously this Yum package is going to look at all the dependencies and install all of them, so that you don't have to worry or manually configure all of them. So the downloads require close to 50 to 58 MB of disk space, and depending on your internet speed, it may take a few minutes to download all the related software. So as you can see, these are all the dependencies for CouchDB. You need to have SDN You need to have the Erlang language with SSL support for different tools, and Erlang also needs WX package, right? So just go ahead and say yes. So this is going to download each of those and install. So along with this, so initially you may find it difficult to work with Couchdb if you're not very hands-on with Linux, right? On different commands, typing the commands. So every install of couhdb comes with a tool called as Qton, which is bundled, and it runs on the same server as couhdb, right? And makes administrative tasks free. So as a result, when you start the couhdb server, Qton is automatically available to you. And Qton is exceptionally feature rich, okay? And it allows you to create, modify, and delete databases and documents as you please. And it also has advanced pagination and sorting functionalities on every screen. And it also allows you to easily compact your database as well as run series of diagnostic operations to ensure that your database is working as it should be, right? So once our couchdb is installed, I'm going to log into Qton and show that to you as well. So it's actually downloaded couchdb, which is version 1.0.4, and Erlang version, which is R14.304.3. So it has started the installation of all the dependency packages required for couchdb. So the installation is complete. Let's start our couchdb. Sudo -i -u couchdb. Okay. So now you can see this message on the terminal where it says couchdb has been started and time to relax. So let's hit the URL and see what happens there. So let me go to the terminal here and let's trigger the URL and the complete URL itself. Okay, so generally you will get this message couchdb welcome and the version number. So this means the couchdb is up and running. So we can also open the Qton with this URL and see how it goes. Okay, so here is the web UI where it's giving the output as well. So with couchdb set up and running, now it's a good time to open the Qton web application administration interface and run the test suite, ensuring that every component of the couchdb server is running properly. Let's open the utility link page in the web browser So the Qt web interface lies, or it can be accessed under 127.0.0.1 port 5984 slash underscore utils and index.html. So, so on the right side of the page, you can see that there's a link called test suite link. Let's go ahead and click that. Right, so here we can run all the tests to check whether all the different components are working fine or different APIs are running fine. Right, so this is the test suite, and you can click run all once you get into this page, and this is going to test all the different APIs within Couchdb and report whether it's a success or failure of the test suite. So you can see that once every test is complete, it is giving a status whether success or failure. So till now, most of the process or steps are successful. Okay, so some of the tests are going to take some time, so let's stop this script. Change issue, but looks like everything is fine. Okay, so let's go to the terminal and do some tasks like creating database, right? Adding some contacts and deleting some of those. So for all of these, you need to have CURL to install, right? And here I'm going to give create a database. So curl -export http 127.0.0.1 :5984 / contact, right? So this is the database which I'm creating, and it says okay true, which means that the database has been created. So let's go to Qt and see that. So here, as you can see, the contacts DB has been created, right? So even from the UI, you have the opportunity to create the database, right, or the documents. Like let's say employees. Okay, so it has created the employee database and is giving options to create documents or enable security. So let's go back and delete this, right? So now we don't have the employee database. So let's create one more database here. Okay. So here I created the employee database, and next time when I try to do it, it says the database could not be created because the file already exists. And now let's see what the databases that are available here, and I can call it okay. So this is the wrong URL which I used. So I need to say get here method, and now it says test suite over contacts, users, employees, etc. Okay. So now we are able to create database, list all the databases, and let's delete the database. Right. So let's delete the employees database. Okay. So it said okay true. That means it has deleted it. It's not found. So let's execute all DBs, and you can see that there's no employee database in the first place. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll create a document within contacts itself. Okay, with the get option, right over row team. Okay. So here I have created a contact, right, and it says created, it says ID is wardrobe, there is some revision number. Okay, so let's get the value and see how does it look like. Get, so it's giving just underscore ID and underscore revision, right? So ID is a unique ID for this document and revision number. And as you can see, there's no contact related data here, right? So which doesn't really help me. So what we'll do is let's just delete this, and then we'll create another document and insert some test data there. And how we'll delete it? Just replace get with get output with delete, and revision equal to, just copy this revision number and just paste it there. Okay, so it says okay true. Let's try to get it. So now it says that this document is not there, it's deleted. Okay. So now let's create a new contact with some data for the document itself. So documenting couchdb is nothing but a simple JSON object, as we talked before, and you need to simply include this JSON in your curl request using the -d flag and send it along with your HTTP request. So I'm going to create a document with contact details like first name, last name, email address, and display name. Right. Let's see how it goes. Okay, then so instead of the empty space here, I'm going to put first name, forward, last name, row, and email forward at mypage.com. Okay, similarly something called as display name. Okay, so it says invalid JSON. Let's quickly see what has gone wrong here. Okay, so I can see that there's a mistake here. So the column is there in the double quotes. Okay, so it's still okay. Okay, so I changed the line on the there. Okay, but it still says invalid. Okay, so it got created here. So now let's get the record and see how it looks like. And how to get the record, it's simple. Use the get API, and you can see that it has a unique ID which is over row, some specific revision, first name, last name, and email. Okay, so this is a basic introduction of couchdb and how you are going to work with couchdb. So obviously, if you are not very comfortable with CURL, right, of command line tools, you can use the Futon, right, and use the creative option, or you can use the create document option. Okay, so again, you can navigate the database and see how the data looks like. So this is the data structure that we have created, and obviously from here you have the option to delete specific key and values as well. Okay, and here is the source or the JSON, how it looks like in the first place. So I hope you enjoyed my video. So that's it, folks. Let's meet next time with more hands-on sessions.